remains one of the darker chapters in Nevada history. Decades of nuclear testing fueled by the Cold War with the Soviets, all about an hour's drive from Las Vegas. Above ground testing ended in 1962. It took 30 more years, though, to end the testing that they did underground. And tonight, even though those tests have been over almost as long as they lasted, the fallout for many here is still very real.
We have to get away from believing that these are safe.
Ian Sabarte is the secretary for the Native Community Action Council, which is made up of Shoshone and Paiute people. Sabarte says his family, as well as others in the Shoshone Nation, identify as downwinders.
A downwinder is someone who lives in one of 33 counties in 3 states, Arizona, Nevada, Utah, and these are people that are eligible for compensation under the Radiation Exposure Compensation Act.
Downwinders are people who have been exposed to radiation from above ground nuclear testing. Sabarte says some of his family members have died from that exposure.
My uncle, he had, I'm trying to find a nice way to say it, his throat fell out. Cancer doesn't always just make you drop dead. It's a slow, agonizing death in many cases.
Iris Flores and Cheryl Shorter lived in Beatty with their parents and 3 sisters. They were only kids when the above-ground testing took place. Dana Wagner talked with them back in 2013.
Our oldest sister saw him. I mean, you got let out of school to go see him.
Their mom and dad developed different types of cancer and ultimately died due to the nuclear testing. Years later, they received a total of $100,000 for the loss of their parents through a government program, money they split between siblings. They heard about it by word of mouth and then received help through Nevada's RESET program.
We didn't do it for the money. We wanted our mother counted and our father counted.
According to reports from the National Cancer Institute, it's estimated that there have been about 22,000 more cancer cases and 2,000 deaths from leukemia directly linked to radiation exposure. The Radiation Exposure Compensation Act grants a one-time payment of $50,000 to affected downwinders. It was limited to parts of Nevada, Arizona, and Utah, but it was recently expanded to include St. Louis, Missouri, and the state of New Mexico.
It still needs further expansion, but that's what I'm doing these days, advocating for that.
Now, the next chapter for America's nuclear testing history. President Trump looks to resume testing in the U.S. However, the last country to have a confirmed nuclear test was North Korea in 2017, then Pakistan and India in 1998. China in 1996, the U.S. in 1992, and Russia in 1990. Earlier this year, top nuclear officials for the Trump administration advised against nuclear testing.
I would not advise testing, and I think we should rely on the scientific information.
Department of Energy Secretary Chris Wright explained that the president's announcement doesn't mean mushroom clouds here in Nevada.
I think the tests we're talking about right now are system tests. These are not nuclear explosions. These are what we call non-critical explosions. So you're testing all the other parts of a nuclear weapon.
However, President Trump has not said the same and has not clarified what kind of testing will be done. CSN professor Kumiko Noriega, who was born in Hiroshima after the atomic bomb was dropped, says it's a bad idea to resume testing.
It's going to be affecting our future generation. We may not be affected right away, but look at our grandchildren and our great-grandchildren. Maybe it's going to affect them.
Sabarte says we gave up on testing decades ago because he says we knew it was a bad idea.
We're creating a human species which is less capable of survival, and that's wrong.
And several Nevada lawmakers are now introducing new legislation to block President Trump from starting any nuclear testing without congressional approval. The No Nuclear Testing Without Approval Act is being introduced in the House by Susie Lee and Stephen Horsford, along with a similar bill in the Senate by Jackie Rosen and Catherine Cortez Masto. all Democrats of Nevada. If approved, it would prevent nuclear weapons tests in Nevada or any other state for that matter without congressional authorization. But Democrat Dina Titus says it doesn't go far enough. In fact, she released a statement saying in part that the nuclear testing legislation introduced by my Democratic colleagues in Nevada fails to adequately protect Nevadans from the prospect of resumed testing at the Nevada National Security Site. She goes on to add, we cannot allow the Trump administration to take any actions that would trigger a renewed nuclear arms race. That's why I introduced my Restrain Act, which would ban explosive testing without exceptions. And another thing that we want to note here is that if you want to know more about our history, Ian Zabarte, who we talked to in this piece, it's all taking part in an international uranium film festival here in our Las Vegas Valley that you can learn more is taking place from November 21st through the 23rd. That's at the downtown cinemas, and you're welcome to go there, and you will learn more from him and others who are affected by this.
The biggest piece of this was ignorance. That our federal government was trying to kill people with cancer. They simply didn't know the dangers of it. People would come from all over the world in some cases to watch these mushroom clouds over the Nevada desert. So these people put themselves in harm's way on purpose in some cases.
Well, they didn't know any better, as you mentioned, and it was a tourist attraction.
Right,
Yeah.
It was. Okay, LaToya, great piece, and I love last night's too as well. You can find that on our YouTube page.